It's absolutely delicious. Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we'll be doing 3 levels of fried rice. There are a little more people on the channel now, but those of you who have been around know that I occasionally do this 3 levels video where I take a recipe and I execute it at 3 different effort levels or 3 different complexity. Now this is not to say that I'm a master of any sort. I usually do this kind of videos when I have done a certain amount of research. And thanks to all you guys' input on the recent BBC video, I've gotten exposed to how many of you cook your own fried rice. So now let me show you how I make my own fried rice starting from level 1, egg fried rice.
This is the dish that the 14-year-old first cooks for himself when his parents aren't in, the dish the boyfriend cooks for the girlfriend when she's hungry at night, and also the dish the father cooks for his family for a Sunday lunch. The truth is, no recipe video out there can teach you how to cook truly good egg fried rice. You can only get closer with plates and plates of practice. I personally use it as a mirror for my culinary skills. That said, here are the techniques that I've gathered from my experience so that you can focus on them while cooking the egg fried rice. I'm going to use quite a lot of aromatics throughout these 3 levels, so let's get that out of the way with an easy clap. These are pretty common aromatics, so I'm not gonna go through them. And then the rice. Wash the rice to remove the starch. Usually rinsing 3 times like so is plenty for normal white rice, but because we are making fried rice, we want to make sure the water is clear at the end like so. Mine took 5 or 6 rinses, but do however many times that is required depending on the rice that you're using. We cook the rice with the Asian finger trick, which states that one shall place one's finger on the surface of the rice and feel the water level till the first knuckle. It seems like a lot of people swear by this method, but I'm very skeptical. How can you be adding the same amount of water when cooking for Papa and Mama, and when cooking for when Akong Ama 大嫂二姑 come over? So, I'm going to introduce the Asian finger trick second stance. In the second stance, you poke your finger all the way to the base of the pot. Use your thumb to mark out the rice level and eyeball the water level. For usual white rice, you want the water level to be about 70% of the rice level, meaning ratio 0.7 water to 1 rice. This will aggregate out roughly to 1 part water to 1 part rice, since there's space in between the rice grains. But because we are making fried rice, I'm going to go even further, making the water level only 50% of the rice. This will result in a drier, harder rice grain, which is great for fried rice. You can also use this technique to accommodate to your family's preference in rice. So yeah, pop that in, and with the beauty of technology, you get perfectly cooked rice. Fluff the rice immediately to let the steam escape. Now everyone will be quick to say overnight rice when it comes to fried rice, but let's leave that for the later levels. Cannot be every time you want to eat fried rice you have to make overnight rice, right? So instead, we're gonna dry the rice in front of a fan until it's completely cold and dry. One major tip in frying rice is using cold rice. Now rice is ready, second major tip is making sure everything you need is ready by your side. So prep everything accordingly. When that's done, flame on, heat your wok up. A quick apology here for not using a proper iron or carbon steel wok. It's because I'm low SES. The techniques shown here are the same, but it will not have the wok hay. First, ample amount of oil in, I want to say almost 2 tablespoons, heat it till 70% hot. Then drop your beat eggs in. Third major tip here, this is what you want to see when the eggs hit the oil. Things start bubbling and the egg fragrance hits you. You can break them up or not, that's up to you. I've heard different chefs say different things, but the main thing is the fragrance. Now in the next step, I'm going to break canon, but it's something that I personally enjoy. In classical fried rice, you put the rice straight in after the eggs release their fragrance, but I like to make some space for my aromatics and direct the heat towards it to 爆香. Once the aromatics have some color, then I put the rice in. Next, I season with a little sesame oil, white pepper, salt, and MSG. Mix them in while breaking up the clumps of rice. Pour some soy sauce along the sides of the wok and toss. Once everything's even, turn off the flame and fold in some spring onions. Also important to adjust for seasoning as you go. And then the common egg fried rice is done. I'm gonna be completely honest with you here. I wasn't quite happy with this fried rice. I just got a new rice cooker and the rice turned out starchier than usual. But I like the imperfections and I want to share it with you guys. Like I said in the beginning, I use it as a sort of mirror. Maybe I wasn't focusing as much. Or maybe I was focusing too much on getting the right footage. Or maybe I'm just nervous to be cooking such a popular household dish where everyone seems to have a different opinion on. It all shows up on the plate of fried rice. In any case, let's move on to level 2. For level 2, we're switching it up a bit with a spiced prawn fried rice. We start out with some prawns. I'm gonna split the heads and deshell the body. Then I'm gonna marinate the meat with salt, black pepper, chili oil and turmeric powder. Leave that in the fridge for a couple of hours. For the rice, I'm gonna use basmati rice this time just to switch up the textures. Same thing however, wash and rinse with water until it gets completely clear, then drain out the water and leave that aside. Now, usually we cook rice with water, but in other cuisines, it's extremely common to cook rice in some kind of broth. So that's what we're gonna do here. I'm gonna use this miso hot pot base to add umami into the rice. So instead of absorbing water into the rice grains, they'll be absorbing this umami packed flavor. But first, I'll fry up some aromatics in some sesame oil. It's just something that I like to do when using ready-made broths or stock. It gives a sort of fresh fragrance to it. Then simply pour the broth in and dilute it with water until it hits an appropriate taste. Next, we'll use the alternative way of cooking rice, cooking it in an excess amount of liquid. Leave it in there for 10 minutes or however long the packaging recommends. Leave the lid on so that the water does not evaporate as fast. Once the rice is ready, it will have plumped up quite significantly and a lot of the liquid will have been absorbed into the rice grains. Then simply sieve out the rice and we're gonna rinse the cooked rice with water. Whoa. 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 No, don't rinse the cooked rice with water. The sieved out miso hot pot soup can still be used by the way. Throw some veggies in and you have yourself some miso soup. Moving on, we're gonna let the rice cool down and let the moisture in the rice evaporate. This gives us a better texture. Once it's cool to the touch, we're gonna put it in the fridge uncovered overnight to make everyone's favorite overnight rice. In this process, the rice grain undergoes starch retrogradation, in which the starch structures collapses slightly to form more complex and stronger network of bonds, which result in a stronger, firmer grain, perfect for fried rice. Now, while everyone knows to use overnight rice, I have to warn you guys that it is not the be-all and end-all of fried rice. If you fry your rice for too long or somehow reintroduce moisture into your wok, the stronger bonds that you spend a night to form will be broken after all. It's one thing to know to use overnight rice, and another thing to know how to use overnight rice. Anyway, day 2. Get all your things ready before you start on your wok. Then first I'm gonna sear up my prawns. I love it when my prawns get some like burnt marks. I think it boosts their flavor incredibly. Once they're done, set them aside. Next, we go in with our prawn heads and immediately start smashing their butter onto the pans. You also realize that the wok would be smoking rather significantly, and then like J-Tro says in Initial D, we go in with the rice and give it the tossy toss. Next, similar to level 1, I'm gonna make some space and fry up my aromatics with some chili oil. Once it's nice and fragrant, I'm gonna mix them in and season the fried rice with fish sauce, cumin powder, paprika powder, turmeric powder, white pepper and salt. Fry for a couple of minutes and turn off the flame. I'm then also gonna fold in some saffron. Next, I will remove the prawn heads since they have done their jobs. Crushed prawn heads aren't very fun to eat either. Last but not least, add the prawn meats back into the wok and give it a mix. Scoop it out onto a plate, garnish with a few wedges of lime, and your fried rice is done. A rather different fried rice with an entirely different flavor profile, and I quite liked it. In fact, here's what I thought of it.
It's absolutely delicious. Stop it, stop it, you all stop it. The smell of the prawn head, right, is just in your face. Then when it's so strong, right, the lime just brings everything all back. I don't want to waste time complimenting my own dish, a bit pointless. So let's move on to level 3.
So we start level 3 with this beautiful Japanese short grain rice, and what we're gonna do is start planting it in our backyard. Give it a bit of water. Then we have ourselves some beautiful rice. Then same thing, rinse until water is clear, drain and set aside. I'm gonna render down some lard. I just want the liquid fat for this fried rice. As for the crispy bits, no one has to know where they went. Especially when you hit them with a bit of salt straight out of the fryer. You can have one piece, you can have one plate, no one has to know. I'm then gonna make my own pork broth. Boil the bones to remove the scum and impurities, wash it and set them aside. Then fry up some garlic, onions and leeks with our prepared lard from earlier. Top it off with water when it's fragrant. Add the pork back in and simmer for at least 1 hour. Drain out the broth when you're happy with it. Then I'm gonna fry out some aromatics with the prepared lard and add the raw rice grains in after. This is a technique we use in Hainanese chicken rice, but I figured it might be useful here. No need for too long, just 1 or 2 minutes will do until all of the rice is coated with the oil. We are then going to cook it with our homemade pork broth. And here's where I share the Asian finger trick final stance. Please only try this after you have practiced the previous stance at least 100 times. So in this move, you take 2 fingers like so and put them in front of your chest. Calm your mind and keep adding the broth until you hear your ancestor's voice. Then come back to the present and pop it into the rice cooker. I must warn you that this takes practice, if not you'll not hear a single thing. After the rice is done, fluff, evaporation, overnight, starch retrogradation, day 2. Oil your hands with a little bit of sesame oil and start breaking up the rice grains. They should feel pretty cold and firm. Perfect for fried rice. 8 months and 1 day in, we are almost ready to cook. Cut up some chorizo sausages and sear them starting with a cold wok. Such sausages are basically compressed flavor and we want to harness that for fried rice. Using lak cheong, for example, is very common in Chinese fried rice. We start with a cold pan so as to render some of the fat onto the wok. Once they have a nice color, take them out and put in your overnight rice. Toss, season with white pepper, salt and a bit of soya sauce. We have built many layers of flavor with the previous steps already, so I'm not gonna go too crazy with the seasonings. I'm just gonna taste if it's salty enough. Then add back your chorizo sausages, toss until even, turn off the flame, fold in some spring onions and let that sit for a bit while we prepare a lemon butter emulsion. It's basically the juice of half a lemon mixed in with some cold butter, a bit of ground thyme and thickened with a cornstarch slurry. And then plate it up however you like and our level 3 fried rice is done. Whew! 8 months of hard work, all of the gardening and watering. I could have just gone and buy a packet of Japanese rice from Don Don Donki at $11.90. But no, I did it for you guys. Aren't you all touched at the very least?
I'm tempted to say Japanese short grain rice makes the best fried rice. It's something that's quite personal opinion, but I just really enjoyed it. That fat grain sponginess, I don't know how to describe it. And another personal opinion, I really like some acidity, some sourness, right, to go with fried rice. I think the strategy of squeezing as much fat flavor into the rice, right, and then contrasting it with acidity is the best. So yeah, this video was quite a bit of effort to make. I hope you guys learned something from this video, took away something that you can try in your own fried rice, because it's a dish that all of us cook. It might not be egg fried rice, but rice is seen in so many cuisines all over the world. It might be paella, it might be risotto, it might be biryani, but the concept of squeezing flavor into the rice grains, right, is still the same thing. Of course, with different techniques. This video is also my 1K subscriber special. Thank you all you guys who are here on this channel. It really means a lot to me, especially for those of you who have been here for a while. It really means a lot to me. Like, even when a video gets tens of views, right, I know that I know the people who are watching the video, and it makes me happy. Thank you so much for supporting me and this channel. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys this time. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, and subscribe if you want to see more food content like this. And I'll see you guys in the next video.